Are you constantly feeling like toxic patterns are following you no matter where you go? In this video, we uncover the shocking truth behind how dark energies can jump from person to person, sabotaging your journey and trying to extinguish your light. From real-life spiritual battles to powerful biblical lessons, we reveal how chosen ones face relentless opposition from evil forces, especially when they're meant to shine the brightest. If you've ever wondered why some relationships seem cursed, or why negativity keeps creeping into your life, this video is for you. Stick around until the end, because we'll show you how to protect your divine purpose and reclaim your power. Don't miss out. Your spiritual journey could depend on it. Before we start, I'd appreciate your support. If you like the video, please subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated on future lessons from God. When a person undergoes a profound spiritual awakening, much like Saul's transformative moment on the road to Damascus, Acts 9, their entire worldview is shattered and reshaped. This awakening is not simply an intellectual realization, but a deep, soul-shifting experience that forever alters how they perceive the world around them. The clarity gained from such a profound transformation is often jarring to those closest to the individual, family members, friends, and loved ones, who find it difficult, if not impossible, to comprehend or accept the dramatic change. What was once familiar is now seen through a lens of heightened awareness, one that unveils hidden agendas and previously unnoticed energies, leaving the awakened individual feeling isolated and misunderstood. The subtle, sometimes painful rift that forms in these relationships is no accident. It is part of the spiritual process. As Jesus himself foresaw in Luke 12:51-53, the very act of divine revelation creates division, even within households. The peace of ignorance is broken, and the discomfort of spiritual clarity sets in. But as difficult as these challenges may be, they serve a crucial purpose. They prepare the awakened to walk their divine path with unwavering resolve, equipped with the clarity to discern truth from deception. Moreover, the spiritual battle that ensues is not one fought on a physical plane, but in the unseen realms. There are forces, evil spirits, and demonic entities that are committed to sabotaging the divine work unfolding in the lives of those who have chosen to shine brightly for God. These forces plot against the chosen, seeking to undermine their progress and dissuade them from fulfilling their purpose. The Apostle Paul writes in Ephesians 6:12 that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities, and spiritual forces of evil in high places. This statement is not a mere metaphor, but a stark, sobering reminder of the ongoing war in the spiritual realm. These dark forces seek to divert and destroy, using methods of temptation, persecution, and discouragement to derail the divine assignments of God's anointed. To remain steadfast and effective, one must be aware of this constant battle, recognizing that spiritual warfare is an intrinsic part of the awakened journey. Just as David understood his divine anointing and the weight of his calling, the awakened must draw near to God, cultivate spiritual discernment, and stand firm in the face of the adversary's attacks, refusing to allow anything, whether people, circumstances, or internal doubts, to shake their divine purpose. Through faith, vigilance, and a deep alignment with divine truth, the chosen can rise above the enemy's relentless efforts to extinguish their light. The path ahead is not without its obstacles, but with God's protection and guidance, the awakened can fulfill the mission they were born to complete. As they walk this path, they will often encounter individuals who seem to reflect all that they desire, greater narcissists, or spiritual narcissists, as they are sometimes called. These individuals wield a powerful, manipulative energy that can be hard to detect at first. Their charm is intoxicating, their eloquence magnetic, and they can even present themselves as fellow travelers on a spiritual journey. These narcissists may cloak themselves in a facade of spirituality, making it difficult for the awakened soul to see their true intentions. One of the most disturbing traits of these individuals is their uncanny ability to present themselves as a twin flame or a long-lost soulmate, offering the promise of union and understanding. Yet beneath this alluring surface lies a destructive motive: to undermine and corrupt the spiritual progress of those who dare to grow. The story of Jezebel, from 1 Kings 16, 2021, serves as a powerful biblical example of a spiritual narcissist in action. Jezebel, with her controlling, manipulative spirit, used her influence over King Ahab to lead the nation of Israel into idolatry. She masqueraded as a devoted leader, wielding her power with charm and deceit, but her true aim was to destroy the spiritual fabric of the nation. Similarly, Delilah's actions in Judges 16 provide another cautionary tale. Delilah appeared to be Samson's confidant, a trusted companion who seemed to share his burdens, but in truth she was a deceiver, intent on uncovering the secret of his strength to betray him to his enemies. She embodied the false twin flame, a partner in appearance only, but a traitor at heart. These figures serve as reminders that the most dangerous enemies often come disguised as trusted allies. When the cycle of emotional or spiritual sabotage repeats itself in your life, it is often a sign that you are encountering the same destructive force, only in a new form. This is what some refer to as body hopping, where dark spiritual energies move from one vessel to another, seeking new opportunities to carry out their destructive mission. The Bible speaks to this in Matthew 12:43-44, where it describes how evil spirits wander, seeking new homes to inhabit. These spirits exploit any opening they can find, whether through spiritual vulnerability, emotional weakness, or moral lapses. Recognizing the pattern of repeated attacks, coercion, gaslighting, or sudden detachment from divine purpose is crucial. Once you see these red flags for what they are, you can better identify the underlying spirit at work and protect yourself from falling into the trap of illusion. Whether it appears as a perfect partner, a caring friend, or a spiritual guide, awareness becomes your greatest defense. For the forces of darkness can only succeed if they remain hidden in the shadows. When you bring them into the light, they lose their power. A profound spiritual awakening is not merely an intellectual epiphany, but a seismic shift that reverberates throughout every aspect of one's existence. This awakening is akin to Saul's dramatic conversion on the road to Damascus, a moment where a person's entire worldview is shattered, restructured, and transformed at its very core. It is a moment of such clarity and intensity that it is impossible to return to the previous state of ignorance. The awakening is not simply an intellectual realization, but a soul-stirring, heart-wrenching revelation that alters how one perceives everything around them. The world they once understood with certainty now feels like a foreign landscape, their once unshakable beliefs questioned and their identity redefined. This profound shift in awareness can be disorienting and isolating. Family members, friends, and loved ones who were once close may struggle to grasp or accept the depth of the transformation occurring. The person undergoing this awakening is now seeing the world with a new pair of eyes that reveal the hidden webs of deceit, manipulation, and darkness that were once imperceptible. In this newfound clarity, the familiar becomes foreign and the comfortable becomes uncomfortable. A sense of alienation can creep in, as those closest to the individual may not understand the changes they are going through. What once felt like home is now seen through a painful, eye-opening lens that exposes the cracks in relationships, systems, and societal structures. This awareness, while empowering, often brings a painful isolation. The awakened soul feels as though they are walking a path alone, misunderstood, and even judged. What was once a shared journey with loved ones may now feel like an internal battle, as the individual must grapple with the tensions and challenges that arise from the stark contrast between their former self and the newly awakened version of themselves. And yet this isolation is not without purpose. It is part of the spiritual process, a necessary phase of breaking free from old patterns, attachments, and illusions. The Bible itself speaks of this tension and division that arises when one's eyes are open to divine truth. In Luke 12:51-53, Jesus forewarned that divine revelation would often create division, even within families. The comfort of ignorance is broken, and the discomfort of spiritual clarity takes its place, leaving the awakened individual to navigate through the complexities of fractured relationships and conflicting perspectives. This division, while painful, is essential. It is part of the spiritual preparation for the journey ahead. It is through these challenges that the individual is strengthened, refined, and hardened in their resolve. The discomfort of being misunderstood, rejected, or even alienated serves as the crucible in which the awakened soul is forged. In this fire of spiritual purification, the individual gains the clarity and fortitude necessary to walk their divine path with unwavering conviction, armed with the discernment to separate truth from lies and light from darkness. But the battle does not end with this awakening. The spiritual war that ensues cannot be fought in the visible world. It is fought in the unseen, ethereal realms. In Ephesians 6:12, the Apostle Paul warns that our true struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities, and spiritual forces of evil in high places. These forces, evil spirits, demonic entities, and dark energies, are relentless in their pursuit of the chosen ones. They seek to undermine, deceive, and destroy the spiritual purpose of those who have been awakened to their divine calling. These forces do not operate through conventional means. They do not attack with physical weapons or confrontations. Instead, they work in subtler ways, infiltrating minds, manipulating emotions, and distorting perceptions to sow seeds of doubt, confusion, and despair. The spiritual warfare waged against the awakened soul is relentless and unyielding. These dark forces are committed to sabotaging the divine work that is unfolding, tirelessly working to pull the individual off course. They use a variety of tactics: temptation, persecution, betrayal, and discouragement to disrupt the path of the one who has been chosen for greatness. These forces may use people around the individual, friends, family, colleagues, or even strangers, as vessels to carry out their dark designs, subtly influencing them to become unwitting agents of the enemy. This is why the awakened soul must remain vigilant, steadfast, and aware of the invisible battle that rages around them. In moments of weakness or vulnerability, the individual may find themselves questioning their purpose, doubting their divine calling, or feeling overwhelmed by the constant barrage of attacks. It is in these moments that spiritual discernment becomes essential. Just as David, fully aware of his anointing and calling, had to stand firm in the face of adversities, the awakened soul must learn to draw near to God, seek His guidance, and stand firm against the enemy's attacks. The path of the awakened is not one of comfort or ease. It is a path that requires strength, resilience, and unwavering faith. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment on number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. But the battle is not only fought against external forces, it is also fought within the heart and mind of the awakened individual. The greatest threat to one's spiritual journey often comes not from external enemies, but from internal doubts, fears, and insecurities. These internal battles are just as critical as the external ones. The enemy knows that if they can manipulate the individual's thoughts, they can influence their actions and ultimately derail their purpose. The awakened must therefore cultivate a deep and unshakable connection to God, learning to hear His voice above the noise of the world. It is through prayer, discernment, and spiritual discipline that the individual can withstand the attacks of the enemy and stay true to their divine calling. One of the most insidious forms of opposition that the awakened may encounter is spiritual narcissism. These individuals, while seemingly kind and loving, are driven by selfish motives and manipulative desires. They may appear to be fellow travelers on the spiritual path, offering encouragement, support, and guidance, but beneath their charming exterior lies a darker agenda. These narcissists, often referred to as spiritual narcissists, wield a powerful, toxic energy that seeks to deceive, control, and manipulate. They may present themselves as twin flames or soulmates, promising deep connection, understanding, and spiritual growth, but in truth, they aim to sabotage the spiritual progress of the awakened individual. These spiritual narcissists are adept at disguising their true intentions, cloaking themselves in a veil of spirituality that makes it difficult for the awakened to see through their manipulative behaviors. They may initially seem like trusted allies, compassionate, empathetic, and seemingly aligned with the awakened one's goals. However, their true nature reveals itself over time as they begin to subtly undermine the individual's progress, sow seeds of doubt, and distract them from their divine mission. The Bible is filled with cautionary tales of individuals who were deceived by false allies. Jezebel, in the book of 1 Kings, is one of the most notorious examples of a spiritual narcissist. She used her charm, manipulation, and power to lead an entire nation into idolatry, all while presenting herself as a devoted leader. Similarly, Delilah, in the book of Judge, is deceived by Samson, appearing to be his confidant and lover, only to betray him to his enemies. These women, though outwardly charming and affectionate, were motivated by selfish desires and worked to destroy the divine purposes of those around them. In the life of the awakened, the pattern of spiritual sabotage can be seen repeatedly. Toxic behaviors and destructive dynamics may reappear in different people, situations, and environments. This is the work of evil spirits that hop from one vessel to another, seeking new hosts to carry out their destructive agenda. As described in Matthew 12:43-44, these spirits roam, searching for new places to inhabit. They move from one low-frequency individual to the next, exploiting any weakness or vulnerability they can find. Once they have a host, they use that individual to carry out their agenda, whether by sowing division, confusion, or bitterness. Recognizing the pattern of repeated sabotage is essential for the awakened soul. When the same toxic dynamics or destructive behaviors resurface in different relationships or environments, it is often a sign that an evil spirit is at work. These forces are insidious and hard to detect, often appearing in the form of seemingly perfect partners, caring friends, or trusted mentors. The key to protecting oneself from these forces is awareness. By cultivating spiritual discernment, setting healthy boundaries, and remaining connected to divine truth, the awakened can identify the false spirits that seek to mislead them and protect their sacred journey from derailment. When the awakened soul can recognize the red flags and discern the true nature of these forces, they can shine a light into the darkness and disempower the enemy's influence. Awareness is the greatest defense against the forces of darkness. When these spirits are exposed to the light of truth, their power diminishes, and the awakened soul can continue on their divine path with renewed strength, clarity, and purpose. In Luke 8:30, Jesus encounters a man possessed by many demons who identifies himself as Legion, indicating the overwhelming presence of evil spirits inhabiting a single body. Though this passage does not directly depict the phenomenon of body jumping, where spirits shift between hosts, it powerfully illustrates the relentless pursuit of these malevolent. The demons, upon being cast out, urgently begged to enter a herd of pigs, displaying their desperate need for a dwelling place, no matter how lowly. This interaction reveals the inner workings of these spirits. They do not simply seek to possess an individual, they are driven by an insatiable hunger for control and chaos, yearning to wreak havoc wherever they can. This pattern of spiritual possession and disruption can extend far beyond biblical times, manifesting in everyday life. We may notice sudden, inexplicable shifts in people's behavior. Perhaps a once friendly co-worker turns hostile, or a casual acquaintance becomes aggressively antagonistic. These seemingly random changes in demeanor are often the result of spiritual interference, a form of body jumping where the spirit, unable to find a permanent host, latches onto another available vessel. It is within these subtle shifts that the true agenda of the spirit becomes clear: to frustrate, confuse, and disrupt the peace and purpose of the chosen individual. The Spirit's mission is to derail, sabotage, and discourage those with a divine calling, pushing them away from their path. Understanding this reality is crucial for those who walk a spiritual path. The ability to recognize these patterns of spiritual disturbance, these sudden outbursts of negativity or hostility, is a powerful tool in combating the enemy's schemes. This awareness requires spiritual vigilance, an ongoing commitment to prayer. The more one strengthens one's connection to God through faith, healing, and personal growth, the less susceptible one becomes to these disruptive forces. It is in elevating one's frequency, raising their spiritual vibration through trust in God, that they create an invisible shield, making it increasingly difficult for evil spirits to latch on. This concept of spiritual discernment is not only a means of protection, but also a vital aspect of one's divine purpose. With heightened awareness, believers can better identify the subtle workings of the enemy before they take hold, preventing them from causing lasting damage. The Bible speaks repeatedly of the importance of discernment in spiritual life. In 1 Corinthians 12:10, the Apostle Paul emphasizes the gift of the discerning of spirits, highlighting it as one of the most essential gifts among the faithful. This discernment is not simply a gift for the elite few, but a necessary tool for every believer to navigate the complexities of spiritual warfare. It serves as a form of spiritual vision, allowing those who walk closely with God to see what is hidden from others, a kind of divine insight that reveals underlying motives, spiritual currents, and unseen forces at work. For those awakened to their spiritual calling, discernment acts as an early warning system, alerting them to negative influences or deceptive behaviors before they can take root. Just as one might notice patterns of toxic energy or recurring manipulations in relationships, the discerning believer can spot these red flags early, making it easier to avoid falling into traps or becoming distracted by the enemy's tactics. This heightened sensitivity is not only a defense mechanism, but a guiding light, leading the chosen toward the fulfillment of their divine purpose, while helping them avoid unnecessary pitfalls. However, discernment alone is not enough to ensure spiritual protection. The practice of solitude is another key element in fostering spiritual growth and safeguarding the soul. Throughout the Gospels, Jesus frequently withdrew from the crowds to pray, reflect, and rejuvenate, Luke 5:16. These moments of solitude were not acts of weakness, but rather profound demonstrations of spiritual wisdom. Jesus, fully aware of the spiritual demands placed upon him, recognized the need for these sacred times of quiet and isolation. It is in these moments, free from distractions and external pressures, that the Holy Spirit can bring forth deeper revelations, heal past wounds, and fortify one's inner strength. For those called to a higher spiritual purpose, solitude serves as a critical tool for rejuvenation and protection. In our modern, fast-paced world, it is easy to become caught up in the noise of daily life, constantly bombarded by external influences, distractions, and low vibrational energy. Without regular intervals of solitude, the soul can become weary and vulnerable to spiritual infiltration. These moments of retreat allow for a deep, restorative connection with God, where the individual can recalibrate their spirit, reflect on their journey, and receive guidance and strength. Solitude is not simply a physical break from the world. It is a sacred time of spiritual recalibration. It is during these quiet moments, away from the hustle and bustle, that the heart and mind can be protected from constant external interference. The ability to step away from the chaos and focus inwardly enables the chosen one to replenish their energy, protect their spiritual integrity, and remain steadfast in their purpose. Just as Jesus withdrew to commune with his Father, so too should we make space for these moments of divine connection. By nurturing our spirits in solitude, we build resilience, clarity, and focus, fortifying ourselves against the negative forces that seek to undermine our spiritual path. As we move forward on our spiritual journeys, it is essential to cultivate both discernment and the practice of solitude. Together, these two elements serve as powerful defenses against the forces that seek to disrupt and derail us. Through heightened awareness and strategic withdrawal into sacred space, we can safeguard our hearts and minds, ensuring that we remain steadfast in our divine purpose. The enemy may attempt to frustrate, deceive, or disrupt, but with vigilance, prayer, and discernment, we can guard against these attacks and continue our spiritual journey unscathed. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment on number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Guarding your energy is not just a precaution, it is an absolute necessity for maintaining spiritual health. In a world that constantly bombards us with external distractions, challenges, and energies, it becomes all too easy to overlook the vital importance of protecting our inner peace. 1 Peter 5:8 serves as a powerful reminder, urging believers to be alert and of sober mind, knowing that the forces of darkness are ever present, seeking any crack or opening to infiltrate our spirits. These destructive forces are not always overt or aggressive. They often come in subtle, seemingly harmless forms, slowly wearing away at our boundaries, manipulating our vulnerabilities, and eroding our spiritual strength. This is why cultivating a heightened awareness of the environment around us and the energies we invite into our lives is paramount. One of the most critical aspects of guarding your energy is the intentional creation and enforcement of boundaries. These boundaries act as a protective shield for your soul, ensuring that you remain connected to your divine purpose without being overwhelmed by external negativity. Boundaries are not just necessary in personal relationships, but extend to every sphere of life, whether in professional settings, social gatherings, or even casual interactions. Just as a fortress has strong walls to defend against invasion, so must you fortify your spirit with clear, firm boundaries. Without these boundaries, it becomes far too easy to fall victim to the manipulations of those who may not have your best interests at heart. Not everyone who presents themselves as friendly, charismatic, or likable is truly aligned with your spiritual well-being. As Jesus warned in Matthew 7:15, "Beware of false prophets, who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves." This profound teaching serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that appearances can be deceiving. The outward demeanor of an individual may appear harmless, even loving or benevolent, But if we are not discerning, we may fail to recognize the hidden, darker motives beneath the surface. These individuals may not always intend to harm, but their actions and energy may still lead us astray, draining our vitality or leading us away from our purpose. It is crucial, therefore, to cultivate a deeper awareness, an ability to sense the true energy behind a person's external persona. This requires a spiritual attunement, a discernment of the subtle vibrations and emotional currents that flow beneath the surface. In spiritual terms, this means attuning yourself to the Holy Spirit, which grants you the ability to perceive what others may not see. Through prayer, meditation, and a life grounded in faith, you can sharpen this sensitivity, allowing you to detect whether someone's presence is uplifting or draining. Trust in these intuitive feelings, for they are not just fleeting emotions, but a reflection of divine guidance. Energy is contagious. It can shift the atmosphere, influence decisions, and impact your emotional state. When you surround yourself with people who radiate positivity, love, and genuine goodwill, you become energized, uplifted, and empowered to pursue your higher calling. On the contrary, when you allow toxic, negative energy to seep into your life, it can leave you feeling drained, confused, and spiritually depleted. This is why it is so vital to maintain discernment and establish protective barriers that prevent harmful energies from infiltrating your sacred space. When you begin to recognize and honor your spiritual boundaries, you create an environment where only positive, life-affirming energies are allowed to flourish. You learn to say no to that which does not serve your greater good, and you open your heart to relationships, experiences, and people that help nurture your spiritual growth. In doing so, you safeguard not only your mental and emotional well-being, but also your connection to God's divine purpose for your life. In the end, guarding your energy is an act of self-love, divine alignment, and spiritual discipline. It is a commitment to living authentically, staying true to your calling, and preserving the purity of your soul against the forces that seek to drain, distract, or destroy. By building and maintaining strong spiritual boundaries, you ensure that you remain centered, grounded, and fully equipped to fulfill your purpose without being swayed by the false appearances of this world. Trust in your discernment and let your spirit lead the way. As we wrap up today's deep dive into guarding your energy, building spiritual boundaries, and discerning the true intentions behind the people and influences in your life, I want to ask you, what has resonated with you the most? What has stood out as something you can apply to your own life moving forward? I'd love to hear from you. Please take a moment to share one key insight you've gained today and how you plan to practice it in your life. If you like this video, don't forget to leave your comment below and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can continue to grow this community together. Your support means everything and it helps us bring more valuable content your way. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.